Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'll be putting my dedicated streaming and recording PC up against my dedicated gaming machine. Now my dedicated streaming and recording PC has the Intel i9-4900KS at the heart, using the Asus Z790 Apex Encore motherboard, and it's also using 48GB of DDR5 running at 8000 MHz, 1200 watt Corsair power supply, 3TB of high-speed storage, dedicated custom water cooling, slightly over spec, and of course the final piece is the AMD RX 7900 XTX Sapphire Nitro Apex graphics card. This system goes for about 3K, and the dedicated gaming machine has the Ryzen 9 9950X 3D, so the best of both worlds when it comes to gaming and prosumer workloads. Also using the Asus TUF OC Nvidia RTX 5090. Just a beast, cool and quiet, does everything you need it to do. I'm also using a mid-range motherboard, just Gigabyte, I believe it's the Gigabyte Aorus Pro, and does everything I need it to do with 64GB of DDR5 6000 mega transfers at CL30, but I got it running at CL28 with custom timings. 4TB of high-speed storage. I think I'm using Western Digital SN850X Black. Two of those, and yeah, that is pretty much it. Custom water cooling as well, extreme custom water cooling. I've got an external radiator, 420 LT Mora, just does crazy things in the right circumstances. So let's see how these two systems perform against each other. Both built for different tasks, but interesting to see if the money goes where you think it goes. So the results are in. As you can see, the 7900 XTX scoring 67 FPS on average, while the RTX 5090 scores 104 FPS on average. So that's a 55% difference in performance. So the Cyberpunk results are in. As you can see, the 7900 XTX scoring 75 FPS on average, while as the RTX 5090 scoring 124 FPS on average. So that is a 65% increase in performance. And even the minimum 96 FPS is higher than the average on the 7900 XTX, which is pretty impressive. So the results are in. As you can see, the 7900 XTX and 4900K is getting 60 FPS on average, whereas the RTX 5090 and 9950X really getting 133 FPS on average. That's a staggering 121% increase in performance, and even the minimums is way above the average with the 9950X really and 5090, so that's a pretty impressive increase. So the Intel 4900K is an RX 7900 XTX scoring an average of 112 FPS with a minimum of 61, while the RTX 5090 and R9 9950X really getting 172 FPS with a minimum of 90. So that's a 53% increase in performance, which is pretty impressive.
As soon as we find a good spot, we can get things set up and ready to go. And then we can get started.
This is gonna be great!
You bet.
Yeah.
I hope we find them soon.
exceptionally agitated. Could they be chasing something?
It's a person! Bring us closer!
And crash right into them!
We're still too far away.
What do we do? Hold on. What's that?
That's all right.
Can you reach it?
I have to try.
I'm coming too.
The final results are in. The RTX 5090 and 9950X 3D getting 116 FPS on average, while the Intel i9-4900KS and RX 7900 XTX getting 85 FPS on average. So that's a 36% difference. So not a great improvement here. And there are situations where you won't get your money's worth. And so far it's been over 50% pretty much all the way. But Monstante is kind of a game that's not very well optimized, so you can run into situations like that. But you don't necessarily need to spend upwards of 5K to get this type of performance. You can clearly see that the bulk of performance improvement is coming from the Nvidia RTX 5090, so you can just get that, pair it with a cheaper motherboard, obviously a CPU that can extract the most performance you can out of your card, something balanced, and then you can just pair it with a capable PSU and kind of skimp on the memory a little bit, maybe skimp on the cooling a slight bit and the case, and then you can probably achieve the same results for around 4K or just a little bit over 3.5K. So thought that'd be interesting just to observe. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.